Group stage, final whistle, and Argentina have not conceded a single ball into the back of their own net for almost 2 full matches. But rewind 18 months, and nobody was talking about a blueprint. They were talking about an aging squad, a captain in his late 30s, and a coach who was supposed to be running on borrowed time. This story was not written on the pitch this summer. It was written in a qualifying campaign that most fans barely watched. Because while everyone assumed Argentina would coast through South American qualifying on reputation alone, Scaloni was quietly building something sharper, something that only became obvious once the real tournament started. Let us start with the number that got buried under all the noise. Argentina topped the CONMEBOL qualifying table with 38 points from 18 matches. They clinched their spot with 4 matches still remaining, finishing 7 points clear of second place. That is not a team surviving on legacy. That is a team lapping the toughest qualifying region in world football. And here is the part the headlines missed. Along the way, Enzo Fernandez, Lionel Messi, and Julian Alvarez each recorded 3 assists in that campaign, evidence that this was never a one-man operation. Messi was no longer just the finisher. He had shifted into a deeper role, a playmaker pulling strings from midfield, feeding runners instead of always being the runner himself. If you only remember him as the striker chasing through balls in Qatar, you missed the reinvention. Now picture the tactical board. Scaloni's Argentina does not commit to one rigid shape. In possession, they stretch into a 4-3-3, fullbacks pushing high, wingers tucking into the half spaces. That pocket of grass between the opposition's fullback and center back where defenders hate to follow. Out of possession, the same team compresses into a 4-4-2, 2 banks of 4, daring opponents to try and thread passes through a shape that refuses to break. This is the reframe. The goals everyone remembers from this tournament were not accidents of individual brilliance. They were the final step of a pattern rehearsed for months. Watch how the midfield rotates during build-up. A central midfielder slides into the side channel to support possession, while a winger drops inside to occupy the middle. Suddenly, the opponent's marking assignments do not match the runners in front of, and a gap opens that should not exist. Let us stack the evidence. In the group stage, Argentina won 3 from 3, 9 points from 9, and conceded only a single goal across all 3 matches. Against Algeria, Messi scored a hat-trick that equaled Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup scoring record of 16 goals, a mark that stood untouched for over a decade. Then came the knockout rounds, and Argentina stopped winning comfortably and started winning dramatically, coming from behind for 3-2 victories against both Cape Verde and Egypt before needing 120 minutes to get past Switzerland in the quarterfinal. It is worth remembering that this pattern was not new to the tournament itself. Deep in that same qualifying campaign, Argentina traveled to Brazil, a fixture that has broken plenty of visiting teams, and walked away with a win. Part of a run that also included a 4-1 demolition of their fiercest rivals back on home soil. Beating Brazil away from home in South American qualifying is one of the hardest results in international football to secure, and Scaloni's side did it while several key starters were still finding their rhythm. That result alone should have been the warning sign nobody wanted to read. Here is the twist. Those scrappy, chaotic knockout wins were not a sign the system was breaking down. They were proof it was flexible enough to survive being uncomfortable. A team without an identity panics when the plan stops working. Argentina simply absorbed the pressure, trusted the defensive shape to hold the center of the pitch, and waited for their moments in transition. That patience under chaos is the real signature of Scaloni's Argentina, more than any single formation on a whiteboard. Think about it from a defender's perspective for a second. You are not just marking Messi. You are trying to track a front line that constantly interchanges positions while a double pivot behind them controls tempo so precisely that you never get a clean moment to press. By the time you identify the actual threat, the ball has already moved. So when people ask how a squad built around players in their 30s is still standing in the semifinals, the answer was never really about age. It was about a manager who understood exactly what his aging stars could no longer do physically, and built a system that let their experience compensate for it. Messi does not need to sprint 60 meters anymore. The team moves the space to him instead. The road that started with a quiet, dominant qualifying campaign has led here, to a squad that looks less like a group of aging legends and more like the most complete tactical unit at this entire tournament. The blueprint was never a secret. Nobody was just paying attention until it was almost too late to catch up.